Right, hopefully it's working this time. Unbelievable. Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to the next episode, part 11 of my series about my thoughts on every episode of classic Star Trek. We're up to the final season of Star Trek The Next Generation, season 7. Hopefully we're going okay. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already, and all that stuff. Right, we should be live on YouTube. According to that, we are. We should be live on Rumble. Yes, according to that, we are. And we should be live on Twitch. Yes. Hopefully, everything's going okay. Win Grace says, still sounds exactly like Surrender to the Night. And I still haven't listened to that. I presume you mean the intro. The intro music. It's AI. So it's probably stolen it from somewhere. Anywho, right. Let me get rid of that. There we go. Right, so explore the description for links for stuff like my books. Oh, there they are. There they are. There's one of them. Merch, such as this snazzy T-shirt with the USS Alcythian, and other stuff, websites, blah blah blah. Drop us a super chat or a super thanks. That'd be greatly appreciated. Become a member. You can join in the live chat like Win Grace and the other cool members who we've got. But I've got a picture with all the names on, but I keep forgetting to add it to StreamYards. But anyway, it's not StreamYards. I'm all a dither because it all went wrong first. For some reason, it wasn't streaming on YouTube, but YouTube said it was, but it was just a blank screen. But anyway, whatever. Right, so we're on now. Right, Star Trek Next Generation, Season 7. Descent Part 2 is the first episode. So we'll get it up. We're watching it on Netflix. Well, not watching it. We're going through it on Netflix. I'll tell you my thoughts on it. I'm not going into great detail on every episode because there's, 26 episodes if you count the two-parter at the end as 2. So, anyway, right, let's get on with it, shall we? So, add to stage. There we go. I forgot to do my Starfleet background, didn't I? There we go. Not that you can see it. Not that you can, hang on. Right. Where were we? Tell you I'm all a dither. Right, so off we go. As I said, we're watching this on Netflix. Well, I've got it on Netflix because it's still available in the UK. It's proper Star Trek on Netflix. Right, so we have the recap. Remember, at the end of season 6, the Borg were attacking, and they had a new ship that were a weird shape. Data got his emotions somehow activated, and he enjoyed killing the Borg. And then by the end, Law was there. They tracked the Borg to this planet, and the Borg were there, and Law was leading them along with his brother, and they were going to destroy the Federation, but they don't. That was just for the purposes of a season-ending cliffhanger. Anyway, so here we go. So anyway, so that happens, and then so the capture. For some reason, I've no idea why they did this at the end of season 6. They beam down basically everybody to find Data. They beam down everybody to look for him on this planet because sensors don't work properly or whatever, and just leave a skeleton crew on the ship. What about all the families? And did they rope in all the kids as well? I don't know, but anyway. But only Picard and Geordi and Deanna get captured. Anyway. So they capture them, stick them in a cell, and he's going to torture Geordi. Meanwhile, Beverly's in command of the Enterprise, and she's got a skeleton crew of officers that we've never seen before, ensigns and lieutenants and stuff, that do a pretty good job. It's kind of showing that even the people that we don't normally see are pretty good Starfleet officers. So anyway, so she tackles the Borg ship. Geordi gets tortured. His Law sticks things in his head, and poor Geordi, he always getting tortured, isn't he? Star Trek Generations. Do it with him as well in that. Anyway, the upshot of it is, by the way, the meet Hugh, Riker and Worf and that meet Hugh. Because what happened when they sent Hugh back to the Borg, his sense of individuality spread through the Borg when he were reconnected to them. And just those Borg in that particular cube, not all Borg everywhere, just Borg in that particular cube, all became individuals, and they couldn't function anymore, and it all went wrong, and somehow Law found them, and I think it was picked up by Packleds or something like that, and they reactivated him because they were floating through space, weren't they, or something like that. And he helped them. He became the one. So anyway, the upshot of it is they defeat Law's plans. Law is transmitting a signal to Data, which is making him. It's like deactivated his ethical program, so he keeps doing all these bad things. Beverly uses the I forgot what they call it now, transphasic shields or metaphasic shielding or something like that. That she'd championed in that other episode last season. She uses them to protect the Enterprise from the sun's corona. They're going to the sun's corona, and then create a solar prominence to destroy the Borg ship. So she does that, and the Enterprise crew defeat Law, and the Borg become these Borg. I don't know what happens with these Borg. Hugh becomes their leader. I'm guessing the Romulans find him at some point. Star Trek Picard. There's Hugh, look. Jonathan Dell'Arco. He gets killed. Spoilers, he gets killed in Star Trek Picard. We won't be doing that series. It's bloody awful. Anyway, and that's it. And it all works out well. And at the end, Law gets deactivated. And we never see him again. Data removes his emotion chip from Law. And in this, it's a tiny little Pac-Man shaped thing. But when we get to Star Trek Generations, it's a big, massive, chunky thing. But anyway, whatever. But Law gets deactivated and presumably gets sent off to the Daystrom Institute or whatever. Do we see him in Star Trek Picard? Is that Law that we see in a drawer? I can't remember. Was that supposed to be beef? I can't remember. Anyway, whatever. So, and there we go. So that's Descent. It's not the best, Star Trek two-parter. There were another one. I don't know if it's this season or if it was last season that I thought would be a better season ender. We might come across it in seasons. I can't remember. There's one of them that had a really good episode 1 climax. I thought that'd have been a better one for crossing over seasons, but they didn't do it anyway. So there we go. So that's Descent. It's a decent episode. It's a better season cliffhanger season starter. One of them than I think Time's Arrow was. But I think they've used better ones. In mid-season, the ones that they've put two-parters that they've put in mid-season, I think would have been better for a season climax. But never mind. Right, next up, Liaisons. Which is this one? I can't bloody remember. Oh, yes, it's this one. It's this where the ambassadors from this planet arrive on the Enterprise, and this species. Hang on, there we go. I think Time's Arrow is a better episode, but the cliffhanger isn't good. It might be. It's a more entertaining episode, isn't it? Time's Arrow, I think it is. Descent is a bit. I don't know. Yeah. The bits with Beverly on the Enterprise, she's commanding the Enterprise, that's the best bits of Descent. The bits with the actual Borg in it are not that good, are they? But anyway. So there we go. Where were we? Liaisons. These ambassadors from this planet come aboard the Enterprise, and it turns out that they all have, I don't know, they all have individual things, emotions to deal with. Because I don't know, it's not a great episode. Worf has got to deal with this fella who's very, very belligerent. This fella wants to just enjoy things all the time, and he's taking Picard to some miners or something. I don't bloody know. But anyway, the shuttle crashes, basically. That's what happens. Here's this fella just enjoying everything. He likes his desserts, blah, blah, blah. There you go, Picard's crashed on there we go. The shuttle's crashed on this other planet. Where the hell is it? There we go. Stop playing. There we go. The shuttle's crashed on a planet, and it's all a ruse, because they want to experience, the different emotions and stuff like that humans and other species experience, but they can't, because they don't have that facility. But anyway, and that's where it boils down to. Yeah, whatever. It's not the best episode. Not the worst, but not the best. Yeah, it's one they can skip. It's a skipper. That's what I'd say. Moving on. Interface. I tell you, I can never remember. I've just watched bloody season 7. I can never remember the episodes. Which is it? Is this the one with his mother? Is it? I can't remember. I'm gonna have to check. Yes, it is. It is the one with his mother. Yes, Geordie's mother. I'm talking about, obviously. Yeah, is interfacing with a probe. So Geordie's controlling a probe and seeing things through this probe's sensors, and they have to go and try and find his mother's ship, which is called, I can't remember. No, that's not that one. Oh, I can't bleeding remember. Never mind. It's to go find his mother. He thinks his mother's still alive or something. I don't know. Does she die in this? I don't really remember a lot about this episode. I'm not going to be very good with this season 7, because season 7 is not the best season, to be completely honest, in my opinion. Obviously, it has some good episodes in, but there's a lot of forgettable ones that I can't remember what happens in them, like this one, because I just didn't find it interesting, to be completely honest. I didn't want to see Geordie and all wires and stuff. I thought everything were all optical cables. Never mind. Here he is. This isn't George. Well, it is, but this is like there's a probe going through. It's showing him in the ship, but it's not actually him. It's a probe, but because he's feeling everything and seeing everything, whatever. Anyway, it's something to do with his mother. It's to save his mother, but it's not really his mother. It's aliens or whatever. I don't bloody know. Yeah, whatever. Another one you can skip. Yeah, I don't like liaisons. Windgrace is going to tell me it's the best episode of the season, and I'm going to say no, I don't like it. Next up, Gambit. This one's a fun episode, because apparently Captain Picard is 6'6" tall. That's how he's described in this episode. Have I got subtitles on? Hang on, where are we? Subtitles. Oh yes, I have. It's not showing them though for some reason. They're looking. Captain Picard's, I don't know, has gone missing or whatever, and they're looking for him. And they're saying, human, 2 meters tall. I thought, 2 meters, that's 6'6". If there's one thing that Captain Picard is not, it's 6'6". I think he's about, I don't know, 5'9", 5. He's not a big fella, is he? Anyway, whatever. That's what happens, when you introduce the metric system in an American TV show. Anyway, they're looking for him, and I think he's being killed. They think he's being killed. Oh, there we've got an Iridian in this episode that I think's got thumbs. We see an Iridian later in the season. We know thumbs, but I think in this one he's got thumbs. Let's see if it shows him with his thumbs. I think it's this one. It's not bloody showing it now, is it? Not showing his hands properly. Show me his thumbs, damn you! Don't make me into a liar. Oh, whatever. Look it up. Google it. Iridian thumbs. Anyway. Maybe he's a subspecies. And they think Captain Picard's being killed. I think he's been vaporised. But it turns out he hasn't. He's been working with... he's joined a group of bandits or whatever. Is he going to show his thumbs? Show me his thumbs. Dagnammit. Humans are all 4 inches taller on average by then, so the scale is off. Is that it? Not that they just got it wrong. Not that they just got it wrong. I don't think he's 6'2" either. Then. Oh dear! I want to see this fella's thumbs. Show me your thumbs, you gosh darned Iridian. Oh, it's not going to bloody do it, is it? Never mind. Anyways, joined a group of archaeological bandits, or whatever you want to call them, led by him. It's going to show him, is it? Oh, it is. I forgot the name of the actor. He usually plays a baddie and stuff. I'll look it up. What's he called now? I'm sure it's Richard something. Richard Lynch. There we go. Richard Lynch. He usually plays baddies in TV shows. He's probably been in, I don't know, the A-Team and stuff like that. Let's have a look. Oh, yes. He was in Sword and the Sorcerer. He played King Cromwell in the baddie in Sword and the Sorcerer. Battlestar Galactica used to be in that. Starsky and Hutch, TJ Hooker, the usual stuff. Airwolf, the A-Team. Fall Guy is usually a baddie. And he plays a good part in this. He's controlling his crew with pain things that they've got on the neck. They don't like him, but he's using that. They capture Riker. And so that's when we find out that Picard's with them, but Picard's pretending to be somebody called Galen. So he's named himself after Professor Galen from the Chase episode. And so they're going around, they're looking for Vulcan artifacts, or Romulan artifacts, or whatever. Honestly, this is the one with Robin Curtis in it. Is it going to show her? I bet it bloody don't. Tell you. Skipping through stuff. There she is. Robin Curtis, who's playing, spoilers, she's playing a Vulcan pretending to be a Romulan. Anywho, so that's what she is. She played Savick in Star Trek 3 and 4, by the way. So that happens. So that's in part 1. I can't remember how part 1 ends. Oops. Oh, well, go on to the next episode then. Yes, the Enterprise is getting shot by... because they're lowering their shields. I think this might have been it, where I was thinking, this would have been a good season ender, start the new, because to lower the shields, and then, if they fire, we'll be destroyed, and then the ship opens fire, and you thought, the Enterprise are going to get destroyed, so that would have been a good climax for a season, wouldn't it? The Enterprise about to be destroyed, but obviously it isn't. So... Anyway, they're looking for these Vulcan artifacts, or Romulan artifacts, or whatever. And Picard identifies them as Vulcan. He says, they're not Romulan, they're Vulcan. And it turns out it's an ancient Vulcan weapon from before Vulcans became all logical, when they were warlike. And it's a weapon that uses psychic powers. And it turns out that... by the way, Data's in command of the Enterprise for this bit. For this episode, because obviously Picard and Riker are both off the ship, so Data's the third officer, or the second officer, whatever you call it, third in command. So he takes command of the ship, and Worf becomes the first officer, and they have a clash, and Data is forced to rebuke Worf, but they're fine. They don't come to blows or anything. Anywho. They end up taking over the ship. They said, we don't want to follow you anymore. Arctus Baran, that's his name. And he says, well, you'll have to, because I've got this pain thing. And he presses it, and then he dies. I presume he dies. I think they phaser him and kill him, but whatever. And he dies, and Picard just says, I switched the frequency. I thought, is it that easy? But he did anyway. So they turned the tables on him. And I think Picard essentially becomes the captain, or she does, or whatever. And anyway, they head to Vulcan. And but it turns out she's part of a Vulcan isolationist group that feel that the Federation's bad and Vulcans should go back to being just by themselves. Anyway, for a supposedly logical race, they have a lot of these isolationist groups, don't they? and Vulcan's doing bad things. I hated that Vulcan. Was that in Picard? Was it season 2? Can't remember. That Vulcan crime lord. I thought, what? Anyway, whatever. But it turns out, she's a baddie, and she tries using the weapon on Picard, but it doesn't work on him. Because if you don't have angry feelings, it doesn't work. And they use it on Worf, and I thought, well, it's going to kill Worf, isn't it? But no, he lets go of his anger, and the wave of energy just passes through him, and then they arrest her, and they destroy the weapon, and Picard goes back to the Enterprise, and everything's cool. And they have a nice little joke at the end where Picard goes off to his quarters to rest, and then Data says, Commander Riker's been classified as a renegade because he had to pose as a renegade Starfleet officer. So you've officially been classed as a renegade, and he takes him to the brig, and he says, "I'm joking, a joking, Data," but Data obviously doesn't get the joke, and it's all funny. And look, he's taking him there. Look, it's a joke, Data. Look, Data. So obviously Riker must have spent the night in the brig. Anyway, that's the end of that. I quite like Gambit. It's a fun 2-parter. But anyway, moving on. Phantasms. I do quite like this one. This is the one with Councillor Troy as a cake. I think it's this one. Data's exploring his dreams again. Here he is. You can tell it's a dream because it's got a slightly fisheye lens thing going on, hasn't it? Anyway, see if everything's hunky-dory. I don't trust stuff. Yeah, we're fine. Anyway, so Data is having these dream images, and then he's having weird things, seeing weird things like people are digging through the Enterprise, and all that. Obviously the Enterprise is in danger from what's going on in this episode. I forgot what they call them. I think it's some sort of aliens. What do they call them? There's a similar episode later with the I can't remember what they call them either. But they, instead of using Data's dreams, they use the holodeck, and it's a similar sort of thing. What is it? Where are we? Interface. Is that the interphasic? No, it's not. Don't sound right, does it? Is it? What do they call them? Data goes around hurting people because his dream images are sort of like taking control of him. Yes, interphasic. Yes, interphasic creatures. Anyway, that's what's happening in this one, and it's affecting Data's mind, I suppose. He can't control what's going on. He stabs Deanna Troi, not fatally, obviously, but anyway. So he's got to work out what's going on, and this is where there we go. We saw it there. He goes into his dream state, and he sees Deanna as a cake. And he sees other members of the crew. He sees Riker with a straw in his head and stuff like that. And he has a telephone in his torso. It's like I say, it's all very nightmarish sequences and all that. And that's it. It's interphasic creatures that are feeding on the Enterprise crew. And all that, and obviously they sort it out in the end. I can't remember how, but they do something. Let me see what they do. I can't bloody remember. Oh, there's another thing where Picard is supposed to be going to this Admiral's dinner, and he's managed to avoid it for 4 years, but now he's got to go. But then the Enterprise breaks down. They've got a new warp core or something, and it breaks down, and so he's going to miss that again. But how do they get rid of these creatures? I don't bloody know. But the managed to an interphasic pulse or something. I don't know. Yes, that will kill the creatures. That's what they do with this one. It's a decent episode. Probably like it because Deanna gets stabbed, and I don't like Marina Sirtis, do I? There she is. She's very lovely. I just don't like her. She makes she has a data cake that looks crap. Don't know who made it, but, never mind. Didn't go to a proper cake baking. But you'd thought the replicators, if you just said, bake a cake in the shape of Lieutenant Commander Data, and it'd look exactly like him, but except it doesn't. It looks rubbish. Never mind. So that's it. That's Phantasms. A fun episode. Sort of repeated later on in the season in the episode with the where the Enterprise is emergence, I think it's called, where the Enterprise is like creating these new life forms or something. I don't know. But anyway, next Dark Page. Is this the one with? Yes, Luxana. What's happening in this one? Tell you, I've only just bloody watched them and I've forgotten already. That's why I say season 7's got episodes that I just can't retain the information about them. Then what is it? This one? Oh yes, it's this one. Yes, I remember. This is the one with Kestra. Yes, where we learned that Deanna Troi had an older sister called Kestra who died. She fell through some ice or so. She drowned or whatever. I don't know what she did. But this episode's also famous, I suppose, for having a young Mary Jane. They call her Kirsten Dunst. A young Kirsten Dunst in this episode. Oops, press wrong button. Anyway, so she's been an ambassador, because obviously she's an ambassador, Luxana Troi, and she's working with these aliens who are telepathic and they've never spoken before. So she's been teaching them how to use the spoken word, and they're not very good at it, but they do all right. And they've got weird brains behind their ears, and she's looking very nice, I must admit. I'm guessing this is the wig. For a few seasons she wore a wig, didn't she? And she brought it back for Picard when she was in Star Trek Picard. She must have kept the wig and she brought it back, didn't she? But anyway, whatever. What was I saying? Yes, and we learned that she's ill. She gets ill. There's Luxana, and it's because she's holding something. She's got memories that she's suppressing, I suppose, and. So Deanna goes into it. She like mind melds with the, sort of in a Betazoid way. She talks to her dad. That's her dad, Andrew Troi, who passed away many years ago. I think when she was 4, 7, something like that. When she was young. But he's not real. She's in her mother's mind, but her mother's putting up barriers to stop her from finding out that she had a sister called Kestra. Anyway. Obviously they save her and do all that stuff, and let's say there she is. Look, good acting, and it actually did have me getting a little bit teary-eyed with some great acting from Majel Barrett. But she's all heartbroken about losing her daughter. There she is. There's Kestra, and she blames herself because she took her. But essentially, it was Deanna's fault because Deanna was being the baby because she was a baby at the time. Screaming and shouting, thinks she was teething. So all the attention were on Deanna, and they took their eyes off Kestra for a bit, and she went out and played and died. So it's Deanna's fault, even though she was only a baby, she didn't know any better. Anyway, and it ends on a nice thing. They're saying, "Tell me about my sister," and there we go. And it's a good episode. Is Dark Page, even though it is a Luxana and Deanna episode, it's a good episode. But there we go. Next, attached. This is Picard and Beverly, where we find out that they love each other. Beverly and Jean-Luc. And, but, why not? I mean, back in the day, before she had all her work done, she had a lot of work done, hadn't she? She's got older. She was gorgeous. I think she's miles more attractive than Marina Sirtis, in my opinion. But I think it's her eyes. But anyway, whatever. I'm waffling. Where were we? Yes. The beaming down to another diplomatic mission. A lot of diplomatic missions in season 7. With the Kiss and the Pret. Kez and the Prit. That's it, not Kiss and Pret. Kez and the Prit. A planet where there's two races, the Kez and the Prit. The planet's called Kez-Prit. And they're supposed to beam down. I think the Kez want to join the Federation and the Prit don't. I think it's that way around. And Picard's like saying, no, you've got to be a unified world and all that. But whatever. So they beam down to the Kez part of the planet, but somehow they end up being arrested by the Prit and placed in prison. It kind of reminded me of that episode of Enterprise where Archer and T'Pol were captured on, I think it was Shadows of Pajem. I think it was that one. It kind of reminded me of that, but it were a bit different. But anyway, whatever. But they've got little implants that they put on the back of their necks, so that's why it's called attached. And pardon me. She's a baddie, but not really. They're not really baddies in this. They're just people who don't get on with each other. Anyway, they can't move far away from each other or they become violently ill. Anyway, but they escape. The Kez have people inside the Prit government that help them escape. And so that's what they're doing here. They escape and they're kind of tracking them, I suppose. And it turns out the Kez aren't ready to join the Federation because both sides, they're very suspicious of each other and said, you're not ready to join the Federation. And obviously they get these back. But before that happens, this is when they say that they love each other and all that. And we learned that he's always loved her, even when she was with Jack Crusher, because Jack Crusher was his best friend. And he says, he loved her even then. He says, over the years, those feelings went away. And I thought, Beverly, I said, you bloody idiot. What you said that for? But he said, we can still be friends. So the friend zone each other. But they do get married eventually, don't they? But anyway, so there we go. And they get them back. And the Kez and the Prit don't join the Federation. And off they go. And they can also, in this episode, hear each other's thoughts. So, that's what the giggling at the end about. Where is it? They're going to have a little moment together there at the end. Nearly. They nearly kiss, but don't quite. And then off it goes. There we go. It's a good episode. I quite like that one. I forgot to call it Attached. Next up, what's next? Force of Nature. This is the one where warp travel. This is a good episode. Where warp travel, we find it's dangerous to the universe. So anyway, so it's the B story. There's an A story about that warp drive damaging the fabric of space and time. And the other force of nature is Spot. We'll learn that Spot's untrainable. Spot doesn't get on with anybody, apart from, we learn, I think later on, I don't think it's in this episode, I'm not sure. No, it's in another episode. We learn that Spot only gets on with Reg Barclay. Everybody else he attacks. She attacks. Apart from Reg Barclay. Anyway. So these two people come aboard the Enterprise. Look, there's a Ferengi vessel. Saying that you're damaging space and our planet's in danger and all that stuff. And they say, okay, we will take your findings to the Federation, to Starfleet and all this. They say, no, that's not good enough, says his sister. There she is. Is she? Yes. She says, that's not good enough. Our planet needs help now. And she basically sacrifices herself. She takes their ship. There we go. and blows it up and makes the warp core overload or whatever, and it causes a rift in subspace or whatever. So she sacrificed herself to prove her point, and then so they've got to take notice now. And this is the episode where warp travel is you are our last hope, Hoey 5. And warp travel is you're not allowed to go over. I think is it warp 7 or warp 5? Can't remember now. But anyway, so that's what happens in this, and so this is where it's showing that this is what it's like now, and then in 10 years it'll be, these fissures will be opening up, and it'll, it's going to bugger up space. But luckily they fix it eventually. But for a while they can't go over what I think it's warp 7 or 5. I can't remember. Is it warp 5? Does it say it here? Warp 5, yes, I just saw it then. I just saw it flash up. So not allowed to go over warp 5. So it's like, NX01 speeds. Except in case of extreme emergency, which do happen quite often, I must admit. But they do fix it because in Thingamabob, the Sovereign class, those warp engines designed so that they don't damage space. So they soon sorted it out, didn't they? Anyway, it's a good episode. It is. I do like Force of Nature. It is good, but just about every other episode after this, they get orders. You are allowed to exceed warp speed limits. But anyway, moving on. What's next? Inheritance, which is this one. It's Data's mother arrives. Here she is. That's Data's mother, played by the lovely. I forgot her name now. Fionnuala Flanagan, I think that's her name. She was in The Others, that film The Others. And I always thought for an older lady, she's very striking. But anyway, Voyager was designed to fix it, but they forgot to mention it in the show. I would think when they said Sovereign class, I was thinking, hang on, but it Voyager. Maybe both. Yeah, didn't they mention it in the show? But I think I'd seen somewhere that the Sovereign class also their warp engines were designed not to affect, not to damage. Not to damage space. He's got great ears, hasn't he? Anyway, right, so they've arrived at this planet. What's happening with it? I think its core has solidified, and they've got to drill down using the phasers. They've done it before in another episode, haven't they? They've got to drill down into the core and put things in to get the core going again. So that's what they're doing. Now, she's an expert on this, and it turns out she was. Can't Noonien sing. What's his bloody name now? I forgot his name. Sung. Noonien Sung. Dr. Sung's wife. She was his wife. But so she's meets Data. Says, I'm your mother. So it's about them getting together and being all and all that. But he's suspicious. Is Data. And he's trying to find, that she's lying. But it turns out he thinks she's not lying. He says, "Oh, fair enough, you are my mother," and all that stuff. But then he sees her doing things that she shouldn't be able to do if she were human. And it turns out she's an android. She plays the viola. It turns out she's an android. Soong built her as well. But she's got emotions and all that, so she's miles better than Data and every other of his androids. But I think she was killed by the crystalline entity, and he made her. But she doesn't know. She doesn't know she's an android. But find out here that I think she gets damaged here. The jump down. She's a grandroid too. Yes, it mentions that, doesn't it? It mentions Lal. There we go. Her arms come off. Oh my, I seem to have taken a stumble. Whatever 3PO says. Go on without me, sir. I'm done for. That's what she says. So Data's got to get back to the Enterprise before the Sand People come in greater numbers. But she's knocked out. What happened was Soong built in a thing with her that if she ever got injured or anything like that, she'd shut down so she wouldn't find out that she was a robot, android. Sorry. So Data's got this quandary now. Does he tell her or not? And then he finds a message from Soong. There he is. Which he plays on the holodeck, and he exposits it all. So they decide not to tell her. I think they send her on the way. She's going to die as well. It's like programmed her with a life expectancy, so she'll just pass away a normal human lifespan. So there we go, and she goes on the way, not knowing she's an android. So there we go. Does he ever contact her again? I don't know. I don't know if it even mentions her again. Don't know. But it's a nice episode, his inheritance. It's charming, I suppose you could say. Yeah, but there you go. Next up, one of my favourites. I really like this one. Parallels. This is a Worf episode. There he is. Worf's been to a tournament somewhere where he's won, obviously, because he's Worf. But then he gets back to the Enterprise. And weird things start happening. Things start changing. It goes all dizzy, and then things change. And it turns out his shuttle or something intersected something that's making him jump from parallel universe to parallel universe. I don't know what's happening with the Worfs in the other ones, because we see a Worf in another unit, so I don't know what happens. But anyway, because we see... They actually send a message to the Enterprise from Worf's universe, but we see Worf standing in the background. So I'm thinking, which Worf's that then? I don't know. But anyway. Wingray says, might be my favourite single episode of the season, minus the Troy romance idea. This is kind of where it had its spark, didn't it, I think? Is it? Could be. Because this is where he asks her to be Alexander's Sokchim or whatever, something like that, doesn't it? But and where they're married in this as well, aren't they? Anywho, but yeah, so he starts jumping between universes, and so obviously things are changing. He ends up in a universe where Picard's dead and Riker's the captain and all that stuff, and where he's married to Deanna. And nobody believes him. They think he's going crazy. Oh, wow, they're also they've been checking out like a subspace telescope. It's the Argus array, something like that. Been checking that out, and the Cardassians arrived and all that stuff. But anyway, this is where she's married. We found out that they're married in this universe, and you know. I don't like her, but I wouldn't say no, because she's gorgeous. And he lets his hair down, does Worf. Hang on, where are we? Where is it? There he is. Worf with his heavy metal hairdo. Speaking of which, I've written a heavy metal song. I've done the music and all that on the AI thing, so that'll be uploaded tomorrow. Called Rocking All Night. Anyway. Worfs are just rotating around, so Borg Worf wasn't even in the Borg version. I don't know. I have no idea. Anyway, obviously he's in Commander, but you know, not the last time he'll wear red. He ends up being in command, doesn't he, in Deep Space Nine. Anywho. There we go. Loads of other Enterprises start appearing. Thousands of them. And they start filling up space. So anyway, they find the Enterprise that's got the same quantum signature as Worf and the shuttle that he arrived in. And he's got to go over to that one. And but one of the Enterprises doesn't want to go back. If they do something, you know, techno-babbly, all the Enterprises will go back to their own universes. But one of them don't want to go back because in that one, the Enterprise, the Federation's fallen to the Borg and all that. But that ship blows up. But anyway, I want to find it. There we go. There we go. That's Worf's own universe, but he's there. So which is that Worf? Is the two Worfs now? Don't know. What'll happen when Worf goes back to that ship? Will that Worf just wink out of existence? Or is it Worf in two places at once? Superposition? I don't know. Anyway. So he gets back, he goes back, he snogs Deanna before he goes. There we go, snogs Deanna. There they are, having a good old stuff. Does he have two tongues then? So I'm just thinking. We see all the different Worfs in the shuttle. Oh yes, as he's going, we see him walking about and doing stuff, don't it? It's beyond my ken. That's what I'll say. Is it going to show it? Let's see. Is it this one? Where is he? There they are. Look. We've just seen the. I think we just seen the various versions of the shuttle in all. So that because he's the intersection point. So we're seeing them all at the same time, aren't we? But still doesn't answer why there were another Worf on. But I don't know. Anyway. Anywho, and everything's lovely and all that stuff. And by the way, Worf's birthday, and they sang for these are jolly good fellows. Where we learned that there's no Klingon word for jolly. Anyway, this is kind of the beginning of the relationship between Worf and Deanna. Although they don't fully get together until the last episode, do they? But they're getting closer in season 7. But anyway. But obviously, he ends up marrying Jadzia Dax, doesn't she? She ends up marrying Will. So, but anyway, yeah, Parallels, great episode. I think one of my favourites. It's up there. I said that, but I can't remember if it were in my top 10. Probably not. Anyway, right next, the Pegasus, another great one, another great episode. Question. I bet the Packlead would have loved this episode. Why? And about the Parallels. Or do you mean this one? Don't know. Why would the Packlead have liked Parallels? Explain, Melvin. Anywho, the Pegasus. It's Captain Picard Day, and for some reason, I just think this is hilarious. There he is. Let's have a listen.
It's rather striking. Wouldn't you agree, number one?
For some reason, I just found that hilarious. But anyway. Hello. Captain Picard Day. Anyway, right. So, something's up. He gets contacted by an admiral, Starfleet admiral. They've got to meet with the USS Crazy Horse. That's got Admiral... I forgot his name. Eric Pressman. It don't sound right. But anyway. Will Riker's former commanding officer, and here they are meeting up with the where are we? Come on, show us. There we go, with the USS Crazy Horse, an Excelsior class ship, and here we go. There we go. Is it Eric? It don't sound right. Never mind. Let's go back a bit. Come on. There we go. Oh, is that why the Packlead had loved it? Because there's so many Enterprises. All right, because they wanted it, didn't they, in that episode? Anyway. Come on, what's his name? Because I've forgotten. Is it? It don't sound right when I say Eric. Come on, introduce him, Will. Captain, Admiral... Come on. Jean-Luc Picard. Oh, it is Eric. I were right. I were right. Admiral Eric Pressman. Played by... mere names. What am I like? The Stepfather. Played by the Stepfather. Terry O'Quinn. Yes, Terry O'Quinn. Great film, The Stepfather. I don't think I've seen any of the sequels, but the first one's really good. Anyway, so this is the one where they have to go find the USS Pegasus, which, as we all know, had an experimental ship. And they say it were the Pegasus were a prototype, and lots of the things that ended up on the Enterprise were in the Pegasus. But then when they find it, it's just like an Oberth class ship. So why did they just make a new sort? But anyway, whatever. Anyway, they're going to find it. It's near Romulan space. It's in an asteroid field somewhere. They're going to show it. There it is. Anyway, they're looking in an asteroid field. Pardon me. Picard's curious about what happened with the Pegasus, because apparently it's all classified what happened with it, and he can't. And Will won't tell him anything because he's under orders not to speak about it. Meanwhile, the Millennium Falcon's bombing through this asteroid field, being chased by TIE fighters. And then somewhere else, Buck Rogers, in the 25th century, is doing that as well with the fighting 49th, 69th. I can't remember the call. Anyway. They find the Pegasus. It's being eaten by this angry-looking asteroid. Looks, it's got a big eye and a mouth. Look, is that deliberate? I wonder. But they found that it's in there, and for some reason they can't send a shuttle in because of, I don't know, weird techno-babbly stuff. So they've got to take the whole Enterprise in. So that's what they're doing. But they can't do it straight away because the Romulans are mooching about. So they have to wait till the Romulans bugger off and then go back. Meanwhile, Picard gets angry at him, and he asks him about what happened with the Pegasus. There were a mutiny on board, and then it blew up, and Pressman and Riker and a couple of others escaped in escape pods. And he says, "What happened? What happened on that ship, Will?" He says, "You'll have to ask the Admiral." He says, "I'm asking you, Will." And all that, so he gets cross with him, and he even threatens Will. He says, "If I find you can't be trusted, we'll have to look at re-examine the command structure of this ship and all that stuff." So anyway, so they take the Enterprise in. There we go. In it goes into the asteroid, and they find the Pegasus. There it is. Oh, for Pete's sake. Show it. Show the Pegasus, damn you. That's not doing it, is it? Bloody Netflix is crap. Oh, dear. Did it? Come on, show it. Never mind them beaming over. There we go. They find the Pegasus embedded in rock. You see, that's just an Oberth class, isn't it? But anyway, never mind. It's partially embedded in rock, and half the engineering sections, in a rock face. So only Riker and Pressman can beam over because they've got to get a piece of equipment, which turns out to be the phased cloaking device. And Riker and him have a big argument, and he says, Riker's saying it were wrong what we did, and because he's a baddie admiral. Obviously, the Federation's not allowed to create a cloaking device because of the Treaty of Algeron or whatever, which the Federation signed in good faith. But anyway, Riker, he spills the beans and tells them all about it, and Pressman says, "Your career in Starfleet's over." He says, "I don't care." So anyway, they get the Enterprise is trapped inside the asteroid. The Romulans, accidentally trapped them inside. So they use the phase cloak to pass through solid matter and escape. Riker, gives himself up because of what they did with the Pegasus was illegal. But anyway, they get him out, and everything's fine. And Pressman is arrested, and they take him away, and there we go. And we don't hear about it again until Enterprise. The the finale of that. These are the Voyagers. Because for some reason they wanted to look back while they were thinking about in the Pegasus, while Will Riker were thinking about what to do. Should he tell Picard about the phase cloak? He decided to use the holodeck and just explore the NX-01, and that helped him. But whatever. But anyway, the Pegasus is a great episode. Really, really good. So next, Homeward. Which one's this one? Which one's this one? Let's have a look. Oh yes, it's the one with his brother, isn't it? Where Worf meets his human brother, not Kern, his human brother Nikolai Rozhenko, who's been in like a duck blind on this primitive world. But something's happened there. There's been like massive storms, and the whole planet's been laid waste, much like SETI Alpha 5, I imagine. And he's taken some of the people from this village you were observing. He's taken them into these caves and set up a force field to protect them. So he's breaking the Prime Directive. So Worf's going to go down and find out what's going on. And take him back on, there we go, they take him back. That's him, that's Nikolai Rozhenko. And anyway, so what they do, this one kind of revisit this sort of stuff in Star Trek Insurrection, don't they? Beaming people up into the holodeck, recreating, where they're from in the holodeck, and then taking them somewhere else and beaming them down. And yes, she's in it, isn't she? Penny Johnson's in it. Me playing one of the alien women. See if we can see her. Oh, excuse me, I've got hiccups. Where are we? Is it going to show her? There she is. But it don't land on her. But it don't. Oh, it did. There she is. So Cisco's wife, except she's not. Anyway, so what they do? Let's say he beams them up without permission. There's Nikolai beams them to the Enterprise, beams them to the holodeck without permission. So anyway, so they're lumbered with them now. Otherwise, they'd have all died. That's why he's doing it. This one ends up on the Enterprise. I can't remember the exact how it happened. I've forgotten. But he ends up topping himself. He ends up taking his own life because he can't cope with the knowledge. It's too much for him. But anyway, the rest of the village or whatever, they take them to another planet that's similar to the one they've been from, and they just tell them, oh, we've had to move a long way. They take them through the caves. I know a route through the caves that'll take us to another valley where it's all nice, but it's different. Even the stars are different. So that's what they do with them. And all Worf's brothers attempt that. Including Worf. Anyway, so they save them, and Nikolai decides he's going to stay with them because he's going to be a dad with one of the women. I can't remember which one it is. It's not Penny Johnson, is it? Or is it I think it's somebody else, isn't it? Or is it Penny Johnson? I think it is, isn't it? Yes, he's going to. So he's tapped Penny Johnson. Oh, ending themselves. It's a Klingon thing, isn't it? It must have rubbed off on that other lad. But no, Worf's brother it wasn't Worf's brother that attempted to top himself. It was that other fella, wasn't it? Worf's brother's got her pregnant, got Cisco's wife's pregnant. So he's going to stay with them. Become their, I don't know, seer, I think he says it's called. Becomes their seer, writing down their history and stuff like that. So, and then we never see him again. So there we go. That's the thing with Star Trek, isn't it? They just never mention people in one episode. Then we'd never heard. I don't think we'd ever heard of him before. never mentioned he had a human brother before. I don't think so. And then we never mention him again, do we? But yeah, it's okay. It's not bad. Not a bad episode, but you know, it's your typical Star Trek fare. It's fine. It's fine. But anyway, so we'll leave it there. Oh, this is Windgrace's favourite episode, Sub Rosa. And you know what? I don't think it's as bad as people make out. I quite enjoyed it, to be honest. I don't really remember the episode. I could have sworn he died. No, he didn't. He stays there with them because he's got Cisco's wives up the duff. Anyway, right, so we're on some planet. I forgot what they call it. Calden, I don't know. But and there's Beverly looking gorgeous again. That's it. Before she had all the work done and got older. But she was a striking woman. Her grandmother's died. So that's what they're there for. And for some reason, Scottish people have set up a colony. Oh, hang on. Where are we? There we go. Yes, Space Scotland. For some reason, Scottish people have set up a colony. We have Native Americans later on in the season setting up a colony. Also, Scottish people set up a colony. I thought they're all about diversity in the future. No, just Scottish people. Although there is a fella, this chap here, who's kind of the leader, I think. He's not even human, so he's like an alien Scot. But anyway, lots of very stereotypically Scottish people. It's wondered Alan Young in it, the voice of Scrooge McDuck. But anyway, so her grandmother's died, so they're there. Oh, hang on, we saw him then. They're there for the funeral. But then she sees this fella, played by me and bloody names, Dracula, played by Dracula from Monster Squad. Duncan Rieger, that's the fella, Dracula in the Monster Squad. Should just have 1 million statues to Scotty. Yes, it should, shouldn't it? Anyway, she sees him. Turns out he were her grandmother's lover. He ends up becoming Beverly's lover as well. Anyway. So they're going to stay there for a while. She's going to go through her grandmother's stuff. And then she finds this, there we go, that, which is a little candle thing, lamp, whatever. But it's more than that. It's kind of, it's to do with, like, I forgot what he is. Metaphasic. I forgot what sort of alien he is. Does it say? It doesn't sound right when I say metaphasic. Anaphasic. I knew it had phasic in there somewhere. And then Kira's lover. Yes, it was Shakar, wasn't it? Yes, I knew I'd seen him somewhere else as well. Yes, it was Shakar. Anyway, so that's to do with this anaphasic life form. I don't know. I use it to focus something or other. I don't know. But this Scottish fella who looks, overly Scottish and even sounds overly Scottish. Let's listen. I'm actually thinking, did they use Alan Young's voice?
Oh, give it to me. This is a family heirloom, and I intend to keep it. Now, would you please get out of my house now?
Howard women, always the same stubborn fools.
Oh, can you in your Jimmy? That's what he'd be saying, wouldn't it? Anyway, the makeup, them two. But anyway, so this is the one where she is an alien. They think he's a ghost or something like that. He appears in ghostly form and seduces Beverly, and she decides she's going to stay there forever. She resigns her commission. And stays there, and obviously Picard is suspicious and says it's not like her, so they confront him. There goes, that's her beaming down, saying she's resigning her commission, she's staying down there, she's going to become a healer. But Picard thinks, I'm going down, I'm going to have a bloody word with her. So then he has a word with him. I've forgotten his name. Does it say? Hang on. What's he called? Ronin. Not Ronin Dex. or whatever. Anyway, so they suss it all out, and basically they kill the alien or something. She shoots him with the face. She's always shooting people, is Beverly, isn't she? But she basically destroys him or whatever. And then at the end, she's happy. She's back. Obviously, she's unresigned her commission, and she's come back to the Enterprise. And then at the end, she says, he made her grandmother very happy. So maybe they made her very happy. Apparently, he's been with the Howard women, which is her line, for centuries, making them happy. So there we go. But not Beverly. She killed him, because that's what Beverly does, because she's Starfleet. And there we go. So that's Sub Rosa. It's not as bad as everybody makes out. I don't think it is. It's okay. It's interesting. Right, moving on. Lower Decks, one of the best episodes ever of Star Trek in any season. Inspired a cartoon. This is where we're with a group of lower deckers, young ensigns. A couple of them are up for promotion. And this is where we meet Sito Jaxa. I'm going to show her. Never mind. We're going to meet Sito Jaxa, who, if you remember from... There she is. Oh, for Pete's sake. It's bloody hopeless, isn't it? She's there, look. Look, you can see her there. But when I click on it... Oh, there we go. Bloody finally. You may remember from the... I forgot the name of the episode now. Is it The First Duty? I can't remember what they call the episode. The one where that lad got killed, and Wesley's squad at the academy covered it up. She was one of them, and she returned, didn't she? She quit acting, didn't she, after this, or shortly after this, and they kind of coaxed her out to return in voice form for the Lower Decks cartoon, didn't they? But anyway, she's here. She's on the Enterprise. She's a young ensign now. She's graduated the academy. It's I don't know, is it 3-4 years later, something like that, isn't it? And she's up for promotion as well. So and Riker's got to decide between them for the ops position, between her and that other fella that we saw. Him, whose name I've forgotten. But and there's. Is he Torik or Vorik? I can't remember. Hang on. Can't remember which is which. He's got a twin brother on Voyager, you see. Torik is Torik in this, and his twin brother Vorik is on Voyager. His identical twin brother. Anyway, so they're up for promotion, and the other fella, Sam Lavelle. He thinks Riker doesn't like him. Riker kind of doesn't like him, but anyway. Also Nurse Ogawa, she's going to be promoted. She's promoted to lieutenant, and we learn that she's in a relationship with somebody called Andrew. I can't remember his full name. And I think she ends up marrying him, doesn't she? And in the final episode, we learn she's pregnant. But anyway. T is TNG. Oh, yes, good way of remembering. V is Voyager, yes. The letter matches the show. Oh, yes, T is TNG, V is Voyager, yes. Anywho, so she gets a promotion to lieutenant. But anyway, I don't like him. This I think he's called Ben. I just don't like him. He's oily and greasy, and he's talking to these lower deckers, and he goes and talks to the upper deckers, and I don't know, there's something about him. I think he's a baddie. Even though it doesn't do anything, but I think if we'd have had a season 8, it'd have been some shapeshifter or something. I don't know. Anyway, the upshot of it is they end up with a Cardassian on board, and there's a secret mission. He's a Federation agent. He's Cardassian, but he's working for the Federation in Cardassia, or on Cardassia. And they've got to get him back to Cardassia, so they're going to give him a shuttle that's been shot up. And she's going to go, she volunteers to go as his prisoner. And then when they get back to Cardassian space, he's going to put her in an escape pod, and she's going to go back to the Enterprise. But sadly, that's not what happens. So anyway, she's tiny, isn't she? When you see her here, she's tiny compared to Worf. Look at her. There's a little wide shot. See if it lands, see if it shows. I bet it won't end up on it. There's a wide shot. She's absolutely tiny. Come on, bloody hell. God, I hate this. I hate Netflix. There she is. Look. It's not going to bloody land on it, is it? See, that's not a good example because she's closer to the camera. Whatever. He's like Lieutenant Tyler from SG-1. I can't remember. Oh, yes. I do remember. That was an alien, wasn't it, Lieutenant Tyler? Yes, I do remember that one. Yes. In human form. Yes, he's one of them. It's a crossover episode. Anyway. Picard kind of chews her out and said, don't know why you're on this ship. You should have been expelled from the academy. And she's like, well, I stuck to it and I ended up on the Enterprise. I don't know how you did, but turns out he does. He asked for her to be on the Enterprise. Bad me, because he wanted to give her another chance. What about the others? Nick Locarno was drummed out of Starfleet, the academy, wasn't he? But there were another one, wasn't there? What happened to her? Don't know. Anyway. So off she goes. She's going to go and... there's the Cardassian. She's going to go and be his prisoner. But there she is. Look, she hadn't really been beaten up. They just made it look as though she'd been beaten up. But it turns out she was killed. She, everything went as normal. And she went in the escape pod, but the Cardassians destroyed the escape pod, so she was killed. But we never see the body, so I'm thinking she's still out there somewhere. But no, she's classed as dead. And it is very, very sad, and I did get all watery-eyed, and I was watching it, I was like... But it is very sad. And he gets the promotion, she was going to get it. She was going to get the promotion, but obviously because she's killed, Sam ends up getting the promotion. And there we go. And it's a very sad end to the episode. And I'm getting a bit emotional now thinking about it. But yeah, great episode, The Lower Decks, one of the best ever. Right, next up, Thine Own Self. Which is this one? Yes, this one. Data's off to collect a probe that's crashed on a primitive world, a world that's got a pre-industrial civilization on. He's got to collect a probe that's crashed because it's radioactive, so they can't send a human. So he's there doing that. Is this the shot from the very first episode where we first see the Enterprise? I think it is, isn't it? Anyway, so where we see Beverly's taking the night shift. She says she likes to keep, doing bridge duty every now and again. It's the only time we see her do it, apart from in Descent. But anyway, it makes Deanna think, who's not in uniform. A couple of times in season 7, we see her out of, proper uniform. Most of the time she's in a normal uniform, thanks to Captain Jellicoe. But a couple of times she wears a cleavage stuff. Anyway, this gives her the bright idea. She wants to become a commander because she's got a rank of lieutenant commander. God knows how, because she's bloody hopeless. But I'm guessing it's like an honorary rank that just comes with being the ship's counsellor. But then Esri Dax were the counsellor for Deep Space Nine, but she were only an ensign, wasn't she? I think she were an ensign. Or was she a Lieutenant JG? No, I think she were an ensign, wasn't she? But no, she wants to become a full commander. So she's going to take the commander's exam. Apparently there's just an exam you can pass and you become a commander. Why don't Data take it, or Geordie? Don't know. She does, and suddenly she outranks them. Whatever. Anyway, Data's on that planet. There we go. And he turns up in a village looking all dishevelled and going... doing all... because he's broken, basically, because of the radiation. Something happened. So, anyway, he ends up in this village. And basically, they take care of him. They don't understand who he is or what he is. They don't know he's a robot or anything, because, as I said, they're a pre-industrial civilization. They don't call him a demon or anything, though. So they're an enlightened people. Anyway, so he lives there for a bit. This is a tech. I should take the exam. Blah blah blah. Anyway, Data lives in the village. He can start speaking again, but he can't remember who he is. But he's got a case filled with radioactive metal, and they're all holding it and saying, "Oh, this is weird stuff," and they start using it and making things out of it, and they all get ill. They all get poorly because of radiation. And Data's got to figure it out and to cure them and all that. Meanwhile, she's taking the exam and she fails it. Well, she don't fail it, but there's like a Kobayashi Maru thing-ish. And she works out what she's got to do by the end. She's got to send somebody to their death. And then we're watching it thinking, well, yeah, but it's not real, is it? It's not like in... that episode, is it Ensigns of Command? No, that don't sound right. Or maybe it was. I can't remember. That episode with Wesley, where he goes through that test. He thinks he has to make a choice. There's an explosion, isn't there? And he has to make a choice to save somebody. Turns out that was a test. But he didn't know it at the time, did he? So he had to make a choice to save somebody and let somebody else die. Not let them die, but, save somebody. But in this, it was just like a holodeck thing, and she had to send Geordie to his death to fix something. But she knew it wasn't the real Geordie, so... Anyway, never mind. How come Geordie LaForge doesn't have a Geordie accent? Anyway, that's what I want to know. Going to be a why man? We're going at what factor 9? Anyway, meanwhile, Data is sorting out how to... cure all these people of their radiation sickness, which obviously he does. She passes the exam and she becomes a commander. Yes, he eats Data. We see that he's not. Well, he's not human. He's not one of them. I knew that anyway. But he's all sparkly lights on his face. Anyway, he cures them. And he's putting the rest of the cure, there we go, into the water supply. But they put a rod through his back and all that stuff, but he still cures them. Anyway, then I think Riker and somebody else, I think it's Beverly, yes, there she is. Riker and Beverly beam down and say, "We're looking for our friend called Data," or whatever. And they get him back. They'd buried him. They thought he was dead. So they beam him out and reactivate him, fix his face. And but he has no memory of it. He remembers something happening with the probe, and there was an explosion, and he says he doesn't remember anything after that. But and he says, "Oh, well, no, you saved the whole village." And he went, "Oh, right, cool." And then he notices Deanna's a commander. There she is, full commander now. And so he has to call her Sir. I said, "I'm not calling you Sir. Bloody hell." Anyway, so there we go. That's it. But a good episode. Apart from the Deanna Troi bit. The Data part of the episode is really good. The Deanna Troi, wanted to be a commander is just bab. I hate it. Anyway, moving on. I really like Masks. Masks is next. I really like this. A lot of people don't like Masks, and I don't know why, because I really like this episode. I think it's because I'm like an Ancient Aliens fan. And this has kind of got hints of Ancient Aliens-ish. It reminds me of it, even down to the symbols that are used in it are kind of like from Mayan or whatever, like hieroglyphics and stuff. But anyway, in this one, the Enterprise encounters a comet. Data. Data's doing pottery, clay work. Not pottery, but clay work. And he's created, for Pete's sake. There we go. He's created a pad in clay that's super accurate. Don't look it to me, but never mind. So they've got to use your imagination. And it says, make a clay thing of music. So that's what he does there. Go on, show it. It's not showing it, is it? It just does like a musical symbol. Anyway, meanwhile, the Enterprise discovers a comet. There it is. Oh, for Pete's sake. That's been going for, I don't know, 70 million years or whatever, 80 million years. I can't remember. Show the bloody comet, for Christ's sake. Does it say how long it's been? I think is it 80 million years? Based on its present trajectory, comet appears to have originated. I'm just waiting for him to say. In the Darcy system. Go on, say it over 2 sectors away. Correct, 87 million. Pause! Christ. 87 million years it's been going from the Darcy system. But Riker's an idiot, and he says he thinks the comet is that old, but obviously it can't be. It must be billions of years old, won't it? But anyway, whatever. But it's taken 87 million years to get from the Darcy system to where it is now. But it's not all that it seems. It scans something from the comet, scans the Enterprise, and then when Beverly goes into her quarters, or is this Deanna's quarters? That's appeared some weird little sculpture thing. They don't know what it is, but then as they go, I'm waiting now. Oh, for Pete's sake! As they leave, something else appears on the sculpture. There it is. Look, ooh, look, it's Masaka. Anyway, right. So it turns out that the comet. Yes, and also is still in his pottery class, and he's made. It's going to show it there. Oh, for Pete's sake! Show it. Oh, for crying out loud! He's made a mask, and he doesn't know why he's made that design. Bloody hell, Netflix! You're not going to show us it, are you? You're not going to bloody show us it. Whatever. He makes a mask out of pottery, clay, and I presume he fires it and all that, and hardens it and paints it and all, because we see it later on. But weird things are happening with the ship. He doesn't know why he made it, but then weird things are happening with the ship. These symbols are appearing on the displays. There we go, like that. But Data somehow knows what they mean, like border, river, stuff like that. So anyway, weird things are happening. Oh, and that one means death. If he's going to show it. Oh, it does me head in. Bloody hell, Netflix. There we go. That one means death. Because that's massacre. Right, so they decide that there's something inside the comet, so they're going to use the phasers to melt the cometary material that has built up over 87 million years. And that's what they do. And it's not going to bloody show this. For Pete's sake. Stay on there. That's what it looks like underneath all the cometary ice. And it turns out it's what they call it, a repository of a library, a repository of information, and it's sending all that information to the Enterprise, and using the Enterprise as replicators and stuff like that, to create all these things all over the ship and to take over the Enterprise computer. There we go. And then it's infected data as well with I think thousands. I think he's just said thousands of personalities from this world, presumably in the Darcy system. But it's kind of, I don't think the people. I think the characters, gods, whatever, from that culture. So a bit like Darmok, the Tamarians, the children of Tama. All their language and stuff is about people and places from their history or their mythology, and that's what's happening here. So it becomes lots of different people from the I'm presuming the mythology of that culture that built the library. So here he is I forgot the name of him. Is it I Hat or something? I can't bloody remember the name. Where are we? Masks. Does it say? It's not going to say here, is it? But anyway, Masaka is the queen, and she's waking. He says, Masaka has awakened, and you're all going to die. That's what he says. And only Corgano can stop her. I'm trying to remember the names of the other characters he plays. But it's not telling me in Wikipedia that I'm looking at in the plot. Never mind. So anyway, this is a data. What is it? A Brent Spiner tour de force. He's playing lots of different characters, and it is a fun episode. I like it. Anyway, the Enterprise is being transformed into I don't know, this other planet. Aqueducts are appearing and plants and all that stuff. No animals, thankfully. So it's taken over the Enterprise, and Data keeps appearing as different people from this planet's mythology. When he changes, that thing changes on his chest. Anyway, so they've got to work out what to do. Geordie finds a way to access the library's transformation program, and they activate it and turn part of the ship into Masaka's temple. So that's what happens here. And then Data appears as Masaka, takes the mask that he made, which is Masaka's mask. And we see him there. He's being Masaka now. Masaka's supposed to be female, I think. I think she represents the sun, and Corgano represents the moon, and they chase each other all the time. Obviously, she's the daytime, Corgano's the nighttime. And Picard, he replicates a mask, or they use the transformation to make a mask for Corgano. So he pretends to be Corgano and says, we're supposed to do this all the time, and all that stuff, and everything's cool. Put the ship back to normal, and they do, and everything's back to normal and lovely. And they send Starfleet Federation, whatever's going to send a team to study the archive. We never hear about it again. And the Enterprise is back to normal, and there we go. But I really like Masks. I really, really do. It's one of my favourites. So there we go. So next. Eye of the Beholder, which is this one now. I tell you, I'm terrible with titles. Which is this one? Eye of the Beholder. Oh, yes, it's this one. It's another Deanna one. But I don't mind the episode. I don't mind the episode because it's got what's-his-face in it. What they call him. From Aliens. Has it? Yes, Mark Rolston. Got Mark Rolston. Who I think's been in Star Trek before. Wasn't he? Wasn't he the father of somebody that died? Wasn't he in that episode with? I'm going to check now. I'm sure he was in that episode with whatchamacallit. Lieutenant Walter Pierce, the eye of the beholder. Let's keep going. I'm probably wrong, knowing me. I'm going the wrong way. I'm stupid. No, it doesn't say. I might be thinking of something. Must be thinking of somebody else. I must be thinking of somebody else. Anyway, right. So what's going on here? Oh, yes, a crewman jumps into a plasma thing. There he is. He's half human and half whatever that is. He jumps into a plasma thingy. Kills himself. They're trying to talk him down, and it's obviously not working. But he says, I know what I've got to do, and he leaps. Oh, for Pete's sake. He leaps into the thing and just vaporises himself into this plasma thing in engineering. And they don't know why he did it, because, you know, we're in a relationship with somebody, and, you know, there was no warning. But it turns out he's empathic, or partially empathic, on the, you know, because of the alien part of him. And Deanna's investigating it, because she is. And she starts getting images. She goes to the same place where he did that. She starts getting these images of people laughing and having romantic entanglements. And I think in this episode she even has a relationship with Worf. And then she finds that there's a crewman on board, played by Mark Rolston, who she thinks murdered somebody. And placed him in the bulkhead, but I don't think he did. And it turns out most of this episode is in her head. It didn't really happen, including her relationship with Worf. And turns out something happened. There was an accident back when the Enterprise were being built at Utopia Planitia. 3 people were killed in this accident. It's kind of left an empathic echo, and she almost throws herself into the plasma thing. But they stop her, obviously, and there we go. And look, she's in her old uniform thing. But this is where she nearly chucks herself in. But she doesn't, and there we go. And everything's back to normal. And I think Worf's thinking of asking her out, but he don't want to upset Riker. So there we go. Yeah, it's all right. Even though it's another Marina Sirtis episode, it's fine. It's fine. Could have been better, though. Could have been better. Anyway, moving on. Genesis. This is the one directed by Gates McFadden. I think she directed this one. Yes, it is. It is. This is the one where there we go. Barclay's got Iridian flu or something like that. He's got some sort of alien flu, and she gives him a T-cell thingy, a T-cell technobabble cure. But that makes the rest of the crew start de-evolving into various life forms. We're learning this one that Nurse Ogawa's pregnant, don't we? This is that one. And we also learned that Spot's pregnant. We don't know who the dad is, because there's loads of cats on the Enterprise, apparently. I think there's like 19 cats on the Enterprise. But it stinks. Anyway. They're also doing some tests on the photon torpedoes or something. And one of them goes astray, so Picard and Data go off to retrieve it. And while they're gone, so where we also learned that Barclay is the only other person on the ship that Spot likes. There we go. So he looks after Spot. He agrees to look after Spot. But their relationship is starting to blossom. They're having dinner together. But she's getting all cold. She says it's too cold in here. She's thirsty all the time. And Worf's eating all raw octopus and stuff. He thinks he's an old boy. And is staring at her weirdly. And so they're all starting to de-evolve. Anyway. And Riker starts getting all forgetful and stupid. And other people, there we go, and Barclay gets all speaking in a weird voice and acting all like that. Because he's turning into a spider. Riker's turning into an Australopithecine, and he's turning into a spider. She turns into a monkey or something, I don't know. Anyway, Data and Picard come back and see that the ship's adrift. And but there are, everybody's still alive on the ship, but weird stuff's happening. And they find Deanna. She's got gills. She's turning into some form of amphibious creature. And they learn that what's happened is that they're turning into. They're not just de-evolving in a regular way, like from human to Neanderthal, ape, whatever. Their DNA, because obviously we share the same DNA from all the life forms that have existed on Earth or whatever planet we're from over billions of years or hundreds of millions of years, and it's activating certain parts of DNA that's turning people into different life forms. That's why Barclay's turning into a spider, and he's turning into an Australopithecine, even though it looks more like a Neanderthal, doesn't he? But anyway. They stun him, and the upshot of it is, and Picard starts to he's going to become a lemur or a marmoset or something like that. Anyway, they find that Spot's had her kittens, they're fine, and they also find that Nurse Ogawa's baby is fine, so they can take something from, because obviously the babies are protected from the virus. Pardon me. So Data makes a vaccine for it. And because it's Star Trek, he can just release it into the air system and cure everybody at once. So that's what he does. But before that, we have a quick glimpse of where is he? There he is. As Barclay as a spider. Go on, show us then, for Christ's sake. Why did I clicked on it? There he is. Look. You're going to show us. Not going to show us, is it? There we go. Just missed it. It's going to show again. There we go. Barclay's turned into a spider in some weird way. Alright, and Worf's roaming the ship as some Klingon predator. And Picard's got to deal with him. He electrocutes him. Anyway, they cure everybody, and everybody goes back to normal, and everything's fine. And there we go. So, yeah. It's alright. Best bit is this part at the end. Where is it? There we go. Best bit, this part at the end.
He transformed into a spider, and now he has a disease named after him. I think I better clear my calendar for the next few weeks.
Best bit of the episode, in my opinion. So there we go. So that's Genesis. It's alright. It's a fine episode, and there we go. But she never directed anything else, as far as I know. I could be wrong, but anyway. Next up, Journey's End. This is the one with the Native Americans in the new demilitarized zone. This is an episode that's kind of running alongside Deep Space Nine. They made a treaty with the Federation, the demilitarized zone. It's where the Maquis are starting up, or they will be starting up soon, to fight against the Cardassians. But anyway, this planet, don't ask me the name, I can't remember. Is it Dorvan or something? I don't know. It's got a colony of Native Americans on, and because of the treaty, it's going to find itself in Cardassian space, and they've got to remove the colony. And if they don't want to move, they've got to move them by force. So that's what this one's about. And Wesley's back. He's on a break from the academy, but he's not happy, and he's been all, he's been a teenager basically, going, yeah, you're all poo. I hate you all, basically. That's what he's like. And Admiral Nechayev's here, in a minute. And Picard's trying to make her feel welcome by giving her goodies and stuff that she likes. And she's quite nice in this episode for once. She appreciates, she's being made welcome. But she's telling him that, they've got to get these people off this planet. One way or another, they're not taking no for an answer. So he's got to talk to them. Here he's talking to the Native Americans. Made in a time he could call them that. Some didn't call them Indians. But anyway. And originally this was going to be where Chakotay were from, but they changed it in Voyager. Wesley strikes up a friendship with this fella. If it shows him. It's not going to show him, is it? Him, if he turns round. Is he going to turn round? Who appears to be a Native American. Turns out, spoilers, he's the Traveller. Wesley's going to leave the academy because he's not happy. The Native Americans obviously don't want to leave this planet, and then ends up being a standoff. The Cardassians arrive, they end up shooting each other. He's telling his mother to F off. He ain't really saying he's leaving the academy. And then ends up being a shoot. Oh, there we go, I've missed it. End up shooting at each other. The colonists and the Cardassians, and then Wesley goes stop, and then everything just stops and freezes in space, and then this fella turns into the Traveller, and Wesley says, "Did you do that?" He says, "No, you did that," because Wesley's now going to go off and be Gary 7 and all that stuff in Star Trek Picard, and it's bloody rubbish. Anyway, he's going to go off with the Traveller and explore now, and not be a Starfleet officer until Star Trek Nemesis, when we see him at the wedding of Riker and Troy in his dress uniform. But never mind that. So he buggers off. He's going off with the Traveller. The Native Americans decide they want to stay on that planet, and they agree to become part of Cardassia, And Gulavec, who pops up a couple of times in season 7. I think we see him in Deep Space Nine as well, and in Voyager. We see him at the beginning of Voyager, in the first episode. He says, well, if you don't bother us, we won't bother you. Whether it happened, I don't know, because I don't think we ever hear from these Native Americans again on this planet. But so anyway, so they lead. They said, if you get into trouble and you call Starfleet, we won't answer. Why won't they answer? You'd think they would, wouldn't you? They should answer anybody that's in trouble. They should, Starfleet should go and help them, shouldn't they? But I know they're in Cardassian space. But anyway, Q Chakotay. Yes, he was supposed to be from this colony, but they changed their mind, didn't they? Anyway, off he goes to be with the Traveller. Blah blah blah. Not the best episode, to be honest. Stop playing. I forgot to call it already. What they call it? I bloody forgot. Journey's End. It's not one of my favourites, but it's okay. Right, what's this one? Firstborn. I'm not a big fan of this one either, to be completely honest. This one's about Alexander and future Alexander. He doesn't want to be a Klingon. It's time for us to do his first rite of ascension or whatever. And he didn't want to do it because his mother, remember Kayla, were half human. She didn't believe in all this Klingon shite. So he's kind of the same, but obviously Worf, he knows nothing of our ways, etc. So they go to this planet where they're doing this Klingon ritual thing. So Worf takes Alexander, and they're like doing a play acting thing with a Kahless and Morgoth or something. And they all take part, and he actually likes it, and he meets some Klingons that he likes, so he's kind of becoming... Worf's thinking, oh, this is going to be cool, but then Worf gets attacked by some rapscallions, but he's saved by somebody whose name I've forgotten. It says there, look. It's not going to show his name, is it? Oh, whatever. It's called Emma something. I've forgotten. Hang on, where are we? Cumtar. There we go. An M in it. James Sloyan, who's been in Star Trek a few times, as Cumtar. And it should be, he's saying, he works for the House of Moog, but I'm thinking, you look at his skull ridges and you're thinking, no, he's obviously related to Worf and Kern, because they all have, each Klingon family has a different design. If you didn't know, it has a different design of head ridges, and that's obviously the Worf House of Moog head ridges. So he's obviously part of that family, and we learn later on he is Alexander from the future, and he's come back to make sure that Alexander becomes a warrior, because Alexander doesn't want to become a warrior, because Worf gets killed at some point in the 40 years or something in the future or whatever. He gets killed, and so he goes back in time to make sure that Alexander's better at being a Klingon or something. I don't know, but anyway, yeah, it's a pretty forgettable episode, to be completely honest. It's not terrible. This is where he's telling him, because they were going to go kill Alexander, so he didn't have to go through all that. But obviously Worf stops him. He says, "I'm Alexander." So anyway, yeah. And to be honest, I thought this was Deep Space Nine. Does it appear again? I thought there was a future Alexander episode in Deep Space Nine. Or am I getting mixed up? I must be getting mixed up. I don't know. Anyway, off he goes. I don't know where he goes. I think he goes back to the future, I think. Hits 88 miles an hour. Heads back to the future. Is he in Back to the Future? No, I'm thinking of James Tolkien. And Worf just goes back to Alexander and says, "You don't have to be Klingon if you don't want," basically. And that's the end of the episode. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. A filler episode, in my opinion. Being Alexander in DS9, but not adult. Yeah, I know he appears, as like a young man into by this time, and not a very good warrior. They take the mickey of him on that ship. I thought there were one later on with like a future Alexander. But I'm obviously thinking of that episode, aren't I? For some reason I'm thinking that's in Deep Space Nine. Anyway, whatever. Right, what's next one? What's the next episode? What are we up to? Bloodlines, which is this one? Oh, God, we're getting near the end now, thank goodness. Bloodlines, which is this one? Oh, yes, this is with Picard's son. Not a bad episode, this. Not a bad episode. Damon Bock, although he's not Damon anymore, just Bock. The Ferengi Bock is back. Bock is back. Still wanting revenge on Picard, because Picard killed Bock's son at the Battle of something. It's got an X in it. Axia. Don't sound right. Anyway, whatever. In the Stargazer. And now he's back and he still wants revenge, and he says he's going to kill Picard's son. And he says, Jason Vigo, is Picard's son. That's it, Battle of Maxia. I was close. Just missed the M. So we learned that Jason Vigo is Picard's son from a woman that Picard will. The Carol Marcus of the series. So they go find him, and they find out that he's, he likes rock climbing. He's a bit of a scallywag. He does petty theft and a bit of a criminal. But he's not a bad person. He's just had a hard life. His mother's dead. He's kind of rejecting Picard. Picard's doing his best, to be a father and all that, and but not forcing himself upon him. But anyway, but then we learn later on that he's not actually Picard's son, and that Bock has changed his DNA or something to make him look like Picard's son or whatever. I don't really understand the logic behind it. Pardon me. But they stop Bock, and again, Bock's got a crew with him, and again they get fed up with him because he's not making them any profit, and so they turn on him. And Jason Vigo goes back to his own planet, and lives his life not being Picard's son. I wish they'd have left it a bit open-ended, to be honest. It could have been Picard's son. I'd have thought they should have said, Beverly should have said something like, the chances are he's not your son, but it's not impossible. They should have said something like that. They said something. Bock did something to his DNA and it's changed it enough so that I can't be entirely certain now. So they should have left it open a bit. So maybe he is Picard's son, but they said he wasn't, so he isn't. And then in Generations, we learn that Picard is the last of his line. But anyway, we've got Jack Crusher now, haven't we? So in season 3 of Picard, but never mind. But yeah, whatever. Bloodlines, it's okay. It's okay. It passes the time. And he's quite a good character, a bit of as I said, a bit of a scallywag, a bit of a scoundrel. It'd be nice to see more of him, but we're nearly at the end of season 7. But anyway, never mind. Next, Emergence. This is the one where the Enterprise. Before that, they're doing Shakespeare and all that, and somehow Picard is an expert on Shakespeare, but he's a Starfleet captain, and why is he an expert on Shakespeare? But whatever. It's Patrick Stewart, saying, I want to do Shakespeare. Well, whatever. Anyway. We see that they're on the holodeck, and they see that doing this Shakespeare thing, but then a train appears and nearly runs them over. Here it comes. Choo-choo. Train chugging, and his chain chugging closer. Chain. Is he going to show it? Here it comes. There we go. It's like in Ghostbusters 2, isn't it? It should have both stood there like that. But anyway, it turns out that the Enterprise went through a weird thing happened. Some sort of anomaly, whatever. They do mention it briefly. Does it say what it's called? This anomaly, what they call it. It's not going to say it, is it? In this bloody plot summary. It's to do with Vertion particles, but the Enterprise passed through an area of stuff going on. It doesn't say it in this. But anyway, and it gets infected with something. So the ship's computer starts it's kind of becoming sentient, whatever, and things start happening in the ship's systems, and the ship wants to go to a specific place, and the Enterprise jumps to warp all of a sudden, because the ship were in danger. If the Enterprise hadn't jumped to warp, it'd have been blown up. So they're thinking, the Enterprise is becoming intelligent, which is why it's called Emergence. But anyway, they find all these things going on. A holodeck program's running when nobody started it. They're on the train. They're going to Vertiform City, and there's all these different characters and all that stuff. And it's all to do with these life forms that are growing in the Enterprise. It's becoming intelligent, and then it will emerge. They go through all these different shenanigans to deal with it, and they end up just going, instead of fighting it, they end up just going with it and let it do its thing, which it does, and end up having a life form. It's going to show it. Here it comes. this becomes some weird, I don't know, life form of what they call them, crazy straws, that just flies off. Off it goes. Look, it does what they all do. They'll just fly off into space. There it goes. Something else we'd never see again. And the Enterprise goes back to normal. And then that's it. And I think even Data says, or somebody says to Picard, what if it could be dangerous? And then Picard says, yes, and I let it go on its merry way. He says, yeah, well, whatever. But we never see him again, so whatever. Yeah, it's another filler episode. Don't care. Next, the penultimate episode, Preemptive Strike. This is the one with Lieutenant Rowe comes back. She's been off to, I never even thought about this. An old friend is returning, and I never even thought that it never even entered my mind that she wasn't around. But she's been off doing stuff at Starfleet, tactical and all that, training for that. Here she is. There she is. She's back. She's a lieutenant now, full lieutenant, not a junior. Lieutenant JG. She's a full lieutenant. I was going to say lieutenant. So anyway, she's come back for a bit. Anyway, they have to go into the demilitarized zone because the Maquis are attacking people and Cardassian ships. And here we go. We see, for Pete's sake, we see the Cardassians being attacked by Maquis ships. It's not bloody landing on them, is it? Oh, singing away is Picard. Show us the bloody things. I have to hate Netflix. Look, it's not landing on the things I want it to bloody show you. Dead annoying. Coughing now, because I'm getting that cross with stupid Netflix. Stop singing, Picard, and show us the spaceship shooting at one another. Oh, well, bloody don't then. Anyway, they save these Cardassians. The Maquis, retreat. Anyway, yeah, she's back, is Admiral Nechayev. And they send Lieutenant Rowe on the mission to infiltrate the Maquis. That's what she's going to do. She's going to infiltrate the Maquis and get information and all that stuff. They're going to try and bring them down because they're terrorists. These are the Maquis. But obviously she ends up becoming one of them. And she betrays Picard and all that. But she agrees with their cause. She kind of gets close to this old man. Because he's a kindly old gent, even though he's the leader of a terrorist group essentially, but never mind. So she ends up being with them. There we go. She's getting all sad because he gets killed, and she's saying to Picard she'll follow orders and all that stuff. So they're going to trap the Maquis. A force of Starfleet ships hiding in Vija, hiding in a nebula. But she betrays Riker's there along with it as a relative. And she betrays him. She pulls a phaser on him and says, contacts the Maquis and said, scan the nebula, there's Starfleet ships in there, so they retreat. And she says, tell Captain Picard I'm sorry. I let him down, and then she beams out, and they go back. He goes back and explains, and he says to him that she was more worried about that she'd let Picard down, and then he just sits there. He doesn't say a word. He just sits there and fuming. I'd have broken something. That fish would be dead if I were him. He'd have smashed that glass, but he doesn't. He just sits there, and that's the end of that episode. But don't worry, she redeems herself, doesn't she? Later in Star Trek Picard season 3. So anyway, so that's the end of Preemptive Strike. It's a good episode, you know. It's a good episode. But everyone's always bloody leaving, doing stuff. Wesley's buggered off with the Traveller. She's gone off with the Mackie. What happened though? You know, after that, because she ended up back with Starfleet again, didn't she? What's happened there? Give up, go away. She ended up with Starfleet, didn't she, again? In Picard season 3, she became. Was she a commander or was she a captain? She was Commander Rowe, wasn't she? I think. Or was she Captain Rowe? I can't remember. But anyway, whatever. Anyway, there we're up to the finale now. All good things, parts 1 and 2. I don't know if I like it or not. I do. Some people say it's the perfect send-off for the Next Generation. I'm not sure if it is or not. I like the story. They're going backwards and forwards in time. Picard is going backwards and forwards in time. But I don't know. It's some bits of it kind of dummy heading. Like this, them two. Pardon me. They're an item all of a sudden. But that's just, you know, and they've been building up to it a bit, haven't they? But I don't know. It kind of seems forced. But anyway, she did some time. They worked her way up through Starfleet intelligence. Is that what they said? I can't remember. Anyway, right. Picard's moving backwards and forwards through time and all that. And it's all Q's doing. Here we are. We see him. I think it's supposed to be in France here, back at the old vineyard, even though it's obviously, you know, Southern California or whatever. But anyway, so is he supposed to be, I don't know, 25 years in the future, isn't it? And he's Ambassador Picard. And Geordie's there, and we see he's got implants in his eyes, so as if it shows him. It's not going to show him from front now, is it, because I want him to. Not going to show his eyes either, is it? Oh, for Christ's sake. Stop playing. Oh, for Pete's sake. Show his eyes. He's got implants, you know, like he had in from Star Trek First Contact. So, kind of, you know, a precursor there, letting us know that they're on the way. Got these implants in. It's where we learn he's married Leah Brahms, and he's got 3 kids. Who we learn, who we meet in Star Trek Picard season 3, Alundra and Sydney, but he's got a son as well, whose name I've forgotten. Is it Brett? Doesn't sound right. See if he says it. I bet he don't. Whatever. And he's got a son as well who's joining Starfleet. But we learn that Picard's got Irumodic syndrome and he's ill. And then he jumps. Goes back in time. He's at the launch of the Enterprise, and Tasha Yar's there, and he's going aboard the Enterprise. Anyway, but nobody believes him. They all think he's either mental or ill. He keeps going back to these 3 time periods, and he goes to in the future one. He goes to seek out Data, who's become a professor at Cambridge. He holds the Lucasian chair at Cambridge. And Picard keeps seeing. I'm not going to show it, is it? Show it. Oh, for crying out loud! Not going to show it, is it? They're laughing. Why are they laughing? Show them. I hate Netflix. There they are. Showing people like that. That we saw, the same sort of people we saw way back in Encounter at Farpoint in the trial room, the courtroom scene. You keep seeing those. It's a little clue that Q's behind it. Anyway. We learn that they've got to go to the something or other system, Devron system, something like that. I can't remember. Let me check. I think it's Devron. They're going to say it. It's not saying it, is it, in this bloody plot summary? Tell you, bloody hopes it's Wikipedia sometimes. Dear. No. I think it's the Devron system. I can't remember. He said, we've got to go there because there's an anomaly there. There's an anomaly. And and we learned that in all... Oh, wow, we see O'Brien. He's actually called O'Brien. And he calls him Chief in this, but I think he calls him Lieutenant in Encounter at Farpoint. Must have got mixed up. So they go to the Devron system in all 3 time periods. 2 in the Enterprise, 1 in the USS Pasteur, which we're going to see somewhere. Here we go. It's going to show the Pasteur. Show it. There it is. But don't land on it. Oh, for Pete's sake. I've got my finger up. Don't know. Show it. Show it. There we go. Here's the USS Pasteur. Captain Beverly... I press pause then. Captain Beverly Crusher's ship. Olympic class. Obviously based on the Daedalus class. I think they look bloody horrible. But anyway, never mind. This is in the future time frame, by the way. We also learned that the Romulans... Romulan Empire's fallen to the Klingons, so the Klingons now rule the Romulan Empire, and there's kind of another Cold War going on between the Federation and Klingons, and it is going to take them to the Devron system. I'm saying that, I can't remember if it is that, it's something like that. But then Q appears in the courtroom again, says, the trial never ended, and all that stuff. Anyway, so... and the upshot of it is, it was Picard, or Picard's actions, that created its TOS phaser with a ball. Ah, it kind of is, isn't it? It was Picard's actions that created the anomaly, and it's anti-time, and it's a thing that's going back in time. So in the future time frame, they create it. Then in the current time frame for them, it's such and such a size, but then in the past time frame it's really big, and then Q takes him even further back in time in a bit where it's massive, and it covers nearly the whole quadrant. But anyway, the Pasteur, which is a medical ship, takes him to the Devron system, which is in I think it's in the neutral zone, and they get attacked. There we go. They get attacked by Klingon ships, but then the Enterprise D arrives, because obviously in this time frame it wasn't destroyed at Viridian 3, and now it's a dreadnought, and it just takes out these ships like they're nothing. We're going to see it. We're going to see it. There we go. There's the Enterprise D, being all tough, and it's got 3 engines and stuff. Anyway, but the Pasteur's destroyed, and the crew is beamed aboard the Enterprise D. Anyway, Q takes Picard back in time, 3 billion years to when life was created on Earth. But it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen because of the anomaly. So if they don't stop the anomaly, life on Earth will not evolve. So what they've got to do, they find. And goes warp 13. Yes, they have a different warp scale in that as well, don't they? Mention it a couple of times, don't they? Warp 13. Obviously they hadn't. It's before Voyager and Warp 10 and all that, wasn't it? None of them turn into salamanders. Anyway, right, so the upshot of it is that it's worked out that if they fly the ship into the anomaly and do weird things with the shields, it'll seal the rift, but they've got to do it in all 3 time frames. So the 3 different Enterprises fly into the anomaly, and off they go, and seal it and make it all better. Is it going to bloody show it? Where is it? Where the hell? Does it happen really fast? There we go. There we go. All 3 Enterprises are in the anomaly, doing the weird things with their shields, and they seal the anomaly, they cure it all, but they all get destroyed in the process. But it resets everything, and so everything's fine. And there we go. That's blowing. Oh God, it's all blowing up. Bloody hellfire! But then everything's hunky dory, and Picard's like, his ship blows up, but then he's back in the courtroom with Q, and Q says, "Oh, very good. You've solved this little task. I'll see you. The trial never ends. I'll see you out there," and all that. So that's what he says. And then he goes and plays poker with the crew. There we go. Should have done this a long time ago, and then it ends. It pulls out, shows the poker table, and then it pulls out to the Enterprise, and it glides off into space. Da, 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 da. And that's the end of Star Trek: The Next Generation series. It's a good finale. Some parts of the story that I don't really like, but it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. And then obviously went into the movies after this, didn't we? Generations, and First Contact, and Insurrection, and Nemesis. And there we go. And then we got Picard's, the series Picard. Varying quality, but anyway. But that's it for The Next Generation. Classic Star Trek, ups and downs. Some episodes are amazing, some are not so good, which is to be expected in it. All series, particularly long-running series, I like that, aren't they? But anyway, that's it. That's it for Star Trek: The Next Generation. Really good. It's still not my favourite. I love it, but it's still not my favourite series. Enterprise is my favourite Star Trek series. But we will get to that, because next time, I might have to get rid of that now, aren't I? Next time we do this, we'll be on Deep Space Nine. So we'll be in 2 weeks' time. Next week I'll be doing another, my top 5 favourite films of 1991, I think we're up to. And then the week after, we will have a look at Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 1. So I've got all that to watch. A lot of Season 1's not very good, is it? The pilot episode's amazing. Emissary is amazing. It's one of the best pilots, maybe the best. It's really, really good. But the rest of it, maybe not. But anyway, we'll get there. Right, so we're all done and dusted. So thanks, Windgrace and Quest, for keeping me company while we go through that final season of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Will we ever get Star Trek Legacy? Tachyon Pulse podcast with Jay, formerly of Sidetrek. I'm not sure what's going on there. But over at Sidetrek and Tachyon Pulse podcast, had something been going? Is there a civil war going? I don't know. But he's been doing a few videos about Star Trek Legacy recently. Got his sources. Who knows? Anyway, right. We'll leave it there. We're all done and dusted. What's coming up next? What day are we on? Wednesday. Friday. For Friday Night Appointment with Fear this week, we're doing bait. Sharks in a supermarket. It's not as daft as it sounds. But, so that's coming up on Friday. Right, we'll leave it there. So, hang on, let me sort my stuff out. Where is it? Where am I? There we go. Right, so thanks for watching wherever you are. Live long and prosper. Look after each other. And until next time, I'll say the...